streaming, live chat. Streaming now. Okay. Gonna give people a second to get in here. Let's change this. And then we can get going. Saying no one's here. That's interesting. Am I doing something wrong? Nope. Okay. Let's do this. I've never done, I don't think, a Sunday afternoon stream. So it's going to be a bit fun. Then I'm going to go to the gym. And I'm looking forward to going on tour this week. It's going to be awesomely outrageous. Okay, I'm just going to give people a second to get here. All right, it says 10 people. Let's wait till we have 100. Today's not a weekend or holiday. I don't think it is. So, and then we're gonna do. I think it's fun to do these. I haven't done the show and tell with the spite funding stuff before, but I got two things that were really kind of rare and very cool, and I got them both from the Netherlands. So I thought instead of just posting it on my locals, I will do a little show and tell for everyone as thanks for all the money that we wasted just to spite cretins, midwits, and dimwits, and other such nefarious characteristics. I think we definitely will be wrapped up by 5 o'clock. I've gone down this scented candle rabbit hole, something fierce, and it's really, really, really fun. And I'll even show you. I'm burning 2 right now. So this, okay. So when I'm gonna do a live stream with the scented candles when I get them all in. But this company is great because they're cheap. What you want are the ones that are cheap, but where is Artie Lang? I don't understand. Is Artie missing? Oh, okay. You want a candle that's cheap but smells nice, and this is the best one. And look, they make great gifts. Look at how cool the jar is. And each jar is patterned differently. And it doesn't stink up the house. It's just a nice smell. They're $10. Much better than Yankee. So I highly recommend this stuff. I'm very glad. Value Spa is the name for this one. I really am very pleased with finding them. It's just like a pleasant air freshener. I also realized it's either a function of senility or a function of doing so much TV. If I am telling a story and I get a question, I will always lose my train of thought. And I'm hoping it's not the senility, because when you're on TV, you have to be so focused on what's happening in that minute, you forget what happened like 30 seconds ago. It's very, very, very on the fly and intense, obviously. Okay, so let's do the quick show and tell of the spite funding stuff that got sent to me earlier this week. So for those of you who watch Nightshade, I do my segment on God's mistakes, which are the most effed up forms of life. And my friend came up with the term. She's like, if you look at the creatures at the bottom of the ocean, God made them. He's like, oh God, and he just threw it. And he's like, well, no one's ever going to see this. And, that's why they all look so hideous down there. So there are 3, I guess you could count a sturgeon to some extent, really 3 fish that have you wouldn't count the sturgeon, have a rostrum. And a rostrum is like this long proboscis that comes out of their nose. A paddlefish, there's an American paddlefish, and then there's a Chinese one, which recently became extinct. And then people are familiar with sawfish. You have them in public aquariums and so on and so forth. And I have a sawfish rostrum in my by my shrine. The thing is, sawfish are actually a type of ray, and sharks and rays, are closely related, but they are, different lineages. Coke Zero Fund. Looking forward to the Phoenix show. It's gonna be so much fun in Phoenix. I cannot wait. Voluspell Marcara. Yeah, I thought about sending one to you when you started going this rabbit hole, but thought about me too girly. I think a lot of these girly scents, I don't know if I ordered that one per se. A lot of these so-called girly scents just smell pleasant. I mean, there's a difference between, like if your house smells like, like cherries. I guess that's girly, but it also just smells nice and puts you in a good mood. So, anyway, so just like there is a sawfish, which many people are familiar with, there is something called a sawshark. A sawshark looks like a sawfish, but is not. Just like there's alligators and crocodiles, and there's very big differences. Sawsharks are look similar to sawfish. They're not related. It's called convergent evolution, and convergent evolution is when two groups evolve to look the same, even though they're not really that closely related. And you can understand why that would happen if you have an environment where you have flowers where the nectar is only really, really deep. Some species are going to evolve those long proboscis, whatever. And what that also works for evolution, because if you see an animal that has a certain pattern, you're like, oh, this looks like this animal. It probably had this lifestyle, which is interesting because there's things called ammonites, which are relatives of the current nautilus. They're those coiled shells, you see them. But there's a type of ammonite which are called heteromorph, where the coil has uncoiled. They look kind of like living slinkies, but that slinky is made out of snail shell, and they didn't figure out, they still don't know how they lived, because it's extremely difficult to swim when your shell has all that drag and all that surface area, and they don't understand how this would have been evolutionary advantageous. Okay, so we have this, the thing is sawfish, which are very known, are actually critically endangered. They're really on their last legs, and that's very sad. Saw sharks, on the other hand, are plentiful. So the first thing we got is from the Netherlands. It is a Sawshark rostrum. And it came on wood, mounted on wood. So this is the rostrum of a Sawshark. One of the differences between Sawsharks and sawfish is that the teeth are not symmetrical. They're not parallel to each other. And at the bottom, you can see, this is the bottom, you see these two tendrils. What they do is they can harden them or lock them into place and then have the snout lifted off of the base of the floor of the sea like a tripod. So you can kind of see them, I guess, here. So this is a Sawshark rostrum. Probably haven't heard of it. And now we're going to talk a little bit about Max Stirner. So Max Stirner is a very both marginal and important figure in philosophy. He in many ways, he's regarded as a hipster Nietzsche, because you probably haven't heard of him. His book, Der Einzige und sein Agentum, preceded Nietzsche by many years. It's his only real book. And it's usually translated as the ego and his own. Which is kind of a mistranslation. The first sentence is often described as, all things are nothing to me. Apparently, a more literal translation is, I have set my affair upon nothing. You see memes of him all the time because we don't have any photographs of him. The only thing we have of him is a drawing of him by Engels, Marx's friend. And in fact, Marx had a whole section of one of his books denouncing Stirner and tearing apart his ideology. Stirner's ideology was, he was either the founder of, you could consider it nihilistic anarchism or egoistic anarchism, but basically it was this kind of fuck everybody, and he talks constantly about spooks. And what he means by spooks is these concepts we have that imprison us and that really have no power and can be disregarded. Things like duty, and whatever others you think that are there. Why did you build the Berlin Wall? Why did I build the Berlin Wall? Why did I keep out? It's been a while since I've been called Hitler. So yeah, it's been a while. I don't know. I don't have a good answer for that. I'm talking about Stirner's before. Stirner's in 18, I think 41 is Der Einzige when it came out. When the book was written, the sense in Leipzig was the publisher. The censors looked at it and they said this is too crazy for anyone to take seriously, so they didn't even censor it. They let it through. He so he's a big hero of these kind of black pill types on the internet. He's also a total cuck. So he dedicated The Ego in His Own, his masterpiece, to Marie Donhart, who later she married him and later kind of disowned and disavowed having married him and called him a loser. So that was very sad. I have the first printing of Der Einzige. It's on my Insta. It's like one of the first messages. You can go look at it there. However, so he dies. He basically falls into obscurity. No one remembers him. Okay. So there was someone named John Henry Mackay, Mackay. John Henry Mackay was, a German writer. And when I was interning at the Cato Institute, we found a book about John Herman Mackay in the Cato Library called The Anarchist of Love. And my friend Eric, who passed away this past August, there was someone who was working at Cato named James, who we were friends with. And we took James's, and he was the only anarchist we knew. So this shows you how much things have changed since the 90s. Oh my God, he's an anarchist. That's crazy. Anarchy. So we took, Eric was very good with computers even then. We took James' photo and photoshopped it onto the cover. And by the way, using Photoshop at the time was like, holy crap, this is amazing. And we took Fistful of Might over Bagful of Right. Yeah. We took that flyer of James' picture. It says The Anarchist of Love. We put it everywhere. We covered that building with it. We changed his desktop background. We put it like in the toilets. It was like everywhere, The Anarchist of Love. And I never thought about that book really since. Well, so after Max Stirner went into the memory hole, John Henry Mackay is the one who basically saved him from obscurity. And John Henry Mackay, wrote the first biography of Stirner, which was very much hagiographic and like, oh my God, this guy's the best person ever. He kept his book from going out of print. And this is a 1911 edition of Stirner's book that was privately printed by John Henry Mackay. And this it's signed and numbered. This is number 427. Blaze it. And you can see how, it's July 1st, 1911. It's in this nice Gothic German font, and there's his signature at the bottom. So this is really, really cool to see, especially this font or whatever. So this is going to be collecting dust on my shelf. So I did some more research about John Henry Mackay. And well, it turns out he was a total pederast. And he wrote books under a pen name, like advocating for like fucking boys. And he wrote a novel about a teen hustler. And this was a thing in Germany at that time, this whole pre-Weimar, but what the Weimar is regarded as with this degeneracy and decadence, where you have people advocating for these sorts of things publicly and openly, and it's just like, in retrospect, it's like, oh. So yeah, whenever you see people talking about Stirner, it's the story behind Stirner is very, very disturbing. The reason he was called the Anarchist of Love is because he was advocating for like man-boy relations, in a not just legal but in a moral sense. So it's very disturbing to have found this out, and it's very sad to hear that Stirner himself was kind of a cock. So so that's what I had. I thought it'd be cool to show off with any of you guys. I'm going on Tuesday. I will be in Dallas. Thursday, I will be in Phoenix. I am really, really, really excited for both, especially Phoenix, I think, because I've been there once before, and I think it's going to be kind of weird. Saturday, I'm going to be with Carpe Donktum here. We're going to be having a debate in D.C. I'm moderating. It's him versus Scaramucci, assuming Scaramucci shows. If he doesn't, it's just going to be me and Donk having a good time. And by the way, let's all welcome Carpe Donktum. He joined Ruben's locals group also. So he's the fourth one. It's Ruben, Bridget Fedesi, who is the best, as we all know, me, and then Carpe Donktum. And I know who the fifth person is going to be, and they are completely awesome, and they have my full and unmitigated endorsement. So that might give you a little hint, because that narrows down to 3 people. Okay, so hold on a sec. I got a message here. Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to show you guys. That'd be fun to, if you see it, instead of just having some random photo on my locals or on my Insta. Yeah, the candles are coming the way, and I'm going to do a very, very long live stream when those happen. What do you think Ayn Rand would think of you? Well, I really hate when people like project onto those they've never met how those people would think. It would depend on what point in her life and in what context. I suspect she would be bemused by my cheekiness. I think she would very much disagree with me vehemently about anarchism. I would also very much come correct toward her, and we'd be very respectful, if not downright deferential, as she has earned, in my view. So I think she would appreciate that and admire that. I don't know that I'd be up for these talking till 4 in the morning about these philosophy stuff. That's not my jam. I don't think that would work for me at all. I'm very curious if the shared Russian background would be something she would find interesting, or actually the opposite, where she would want to not have anything to do with it. I mean, she seems to, like, she, on the second episode of the second appearance on Donahue, she made the comment that, with her thick Russian accent, that television is very revealing. And Donahue goes, it's a failure to what? She goes, it's very revealing. So if that's true, and television is very revealing, she seems to me, from her TV appearances, to be extreme introvert. She's clearly, as I am, not pleased when people do not come correct. Yeah, I don't know if please check your Facebook DMs. I don't check them. Regarding Phoenix transportation, I can provide at no cost. I enjoy you and your work. Is this a murder van? This is okay. I will check that. So yeah, I also think Rand, like myself, as I'm getting older, is very much a big fan. Like, really, this doesn't come out as much until you do a lot of deep dive in her, of people who are young and ambitious and intelligent and idea driven. She really was very into that. She had like all the time in the world to spend on people like this. So I think on that level, she would appreciate it. I'm positive that she would have been applauding with my, evangelism about the corporate press and its machinations. There's no question there. And I think she would also be amused, looking at many things in contemporary America, at how her villains were too kind, and the reality is often much worse than she portrays it. So yeah, I guess that's a kind of a long answer to your question. I'm just very pleased right now with what's going on in politics and in America and in the world. I could not be happier. I could be happier, but I'm very, 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 very happy. And I'm gonna have 90 scented candles to go through, which will be fun. Even the weird ones. Hey, I'm down. Oh my god, this is wonderful. I'm down 15 pounds since January. Fuck yeah. Mostly inspired by Lisa De Pasquale and Ethan Suplee appearances. Good for you. Hey, I'm gonna give you some unsolicited advice, which I'm gonna be hypocrite because I hate that. First of all, you're gonna have to change your name from Elephant to Hippo because now you're downgrading. Number one. Number two is, if you something might happen. If you fuck up one day, or you binge, or you stall, don't be like, oh, well, I'm back to zero, so I might as well give up. It's gonna happen. You're gonna fuck up at some point, okay? And allow yourself to be like, all right, today was a wash. We're back on the wagon tomorrow. Don't use that as an excuse to throw your hands in the air. I mean, everyone like when people who are into fitness get injured, right? It's a real mind fuck. So you have to maintain that long term perspective. This is a lifestyle change, and it's like, all right, so this week was a wash. It doesn't mean it has to be regression. So I'm very, very happy for you, and that really means a lot. That's one of the reasons why Lisa did that episode, and agreed to kind of be, talking about these very intimate issues. Is that, you know what, there could be a Lisa out there, and this might help her, reorient her lifestyle. So the fact to see this is just really absolutely ecstatic. In 9 days, we're gonna have she's a therapist talking about body dysmorphia. So I'm gonna be live diagnosed, and we're gonna talk about it. So it's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm very, very, very excited to see how crazy she makes me out to be. So that's gonna be really, really great. Oh, please tweet at Lisa, because she'll be really thrilled to see. Same thing with Matt. Matt is the friend of mine who I mentioned on Rogan, who was sexually abused as a kid. And to have, he recently had a friend come out to him, so now he's not alone. And as well as the many people who reached out to me, to have this, worst nightmare that happened in his life now to be a source of healing and helping others is just really, makes him feel absolutely wonderful. And I can't think of anything better than taking something that's just the worst thing and being like, wow, now I'm actually helping people not blow their brains out. So yeah, it sucks that this happened to me, but like, I am really making something positive out of this. So yeah, so that makes me so happy. Okay, yeah. I was at my I saw my sister and my nephew yesterday. That was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that a lot. My nephew's very, very cute. I didn't get any funny photos this time. Nothing with the Holocaust or with Al Qaeda, but I will next time. So I know people enjoy those, and I enjoy those. Keep doing what you're doing. The world needs your services. Need is not a blank check. Thanks, Matt. Matt is the co-host of the Jason Stapleton program, which I really enjoyed being on every time. I think Jason and I have a very fun rapport and relationship because we're very different types of people, but there's a lot of mutual respect. So it's appreciated, and I do enjoy that show. I will be in LA sooner rather than later. I have to DM back Jimmy Dore about doing his show. I feel like it's a good time as any to do that. To be able to reach out to the left is something I've been working toward for a while, and I am very happy at this opportunity. I culturally am obviously very, very left wing. I live in New York, live in Brooklyn. I love all the weird stuff, all the marginalized stuff. Maybe not all of it. Let's rewind that. But yeah, that's something I feel much more comfortable with than Big Bang Theory and Thoreau, which seems, I've never read on Walden, but it seems to me like I would easily rather read, Mein Kampf, because at least there's gonna be a plot there. So it's just yeah. I'm gonna have to get some kind of GoFundMe for plane fare for when I start doing these appearances. I've said this before on Ruben, when I was on Ruben last time. And Ruben's going to be on my show in April when his book launches, by the way. So when I was on, the point I made is it's very easy, especially for me as a New Yorker, to talk to a red-pilled leftist and reach a common, have a fruitful political conversation. It's the easiest thing. Because once you are talking to a lefty and they see that you're not, racist, that you're not homophobic, and you're not whatever, then everything's really on the table. They are open-minded, when they're not red, when they're not blue-pilled cathedral operatives, then they're like, okay, let's hash this out. It's very, very exciting. It's very, very fruitful. So to be able to do that on a bigger audience um, is wonderful. And I think there's so many, and that's the other thing I hate, this boomer mentality that the left is a monolith. You're telling me that there's some people on the left who aren't better than others, that there's some things the left does that isn't worse than others, and the same thing with the right? That makes no sense to me. I mean, if you look at horrible things that the right does, there's wonderful things, and there's horrible things the left does, and there's wonderful things. So let's have some perspective. But most people enjoy or insist on being binary thinkers, and there's no reaching them whatsoever. Yeah, so I'm hosting tomorrow Nightshade, and then the rest of the week we have Dave Landau doing 2 nights, and we're doing Chrissy Mayer on Thursday. So we'll see what happens there. It'll be kind of interesting. I'm looking forward to that, and people's reactions. I do hope you all join me on the Locals group, which is Dave Rubin's social network, which I'm really enjoying. It's already self-populating. We've got a good over 1,000 people in there. malice.locals.com. So yeah. What else do I want to? There's a crazy person outside. Just got What is Anarchism by Berkman. Read various intros. Made me uncomfortable. Amazing that things haven't changed. We'll finish. That book is excellent. I advise every anarchist to read it, because this is anarcho-communism, and half of it he really gets right. A lot of it he gets completely wrong. And to me, it is very, very, very mentally useful to read someone who you agree with on a lot and disagree with on others, because it forces you to rethink your assumptions. And to me, the weakest part of that book, is when he's talking about prisons. And he's like, poverty is caused by crime and inequality, and in an anarchist society, there would be a lot less crime and poverty and inequality, so you're not really going to have much crime. And it's like, okay, cool, let's grant you that. What about the crime you do have? If you're abolishing prisons, and like literally what's happened, and he doesn't even address these, like, yeah, there'd be a lot less crime. Great. What about the crime that's left? And it's very interesting to see that there, that kind of like hand wave it away. It's like, I think by far everyone's biggest issue with anarchism. There's 2 ones. One is like, if China invades us, and second is, what are you gonna do about the murderers? And for him to be like, well, we'd have less of them. Cool. Okay. What about it's mind-boggling. So that book is very good. Emma's book on anarchism, it's a collection of essays. Each essay gets worse and worse, and about halfway through the book, you could just stop reading it. And Sasha and Emma is their mutual biography. So it's very well done. So I haven't read Living My Life. I read My Disillusionment with Russia, which I didn't really care for that much. I could take it or leave it, although it's historically of extreme importance. It was very pleasing to me to get Tom Woods, who some of you know, the Very Failed Podcaster, to read Emma Goldman, and for him to be highlighting stuff, be like, wow, a lot of this stuff, she nails it. And for me, the litmus test for a lefty about, a lot of libertarians and anarchists, right anarchists, will say, oh, these anarcho-communists, they're basically closet, Bolsheviks. You scratch them and they want the gulag. For me, the litmus test is, if you're more committed to leftism or anarchism, is public education. And Emma fucking goes off about it in exactly the way you would want her to. It's really, really wonderful, where she just condemns it completely. So there's not even like a caveat, like, oh, it's good that we need it, but we can fix it. Nope. She's burned it all down. So it's really, I'm glad that I can kind of see that in her. Okay, I was going to head to the gym in a second. I just got a DM from Colin Moriarty. That's cool. So I messaged him back. Okay. We've got some other big names coming up in March, so that is going to be a lot of fun. Okay, I am going to. It's been only half an hour. Yeah. I haven't done, so I'm not gonna have time tomorrow to do a stream, and then I'm gonna be streaming when I'm on tour. Darren got me a laptop, so I'll be chatting with you guys impromptu when I'm in Houston and when I'm in Phoenix. When I'm in, excuse me, in Dallas, and when I'm in Dallas, I finally will get to meet Jason Howerton, who I'm really, really excited to meet. He's a great, great dude. Um, I really love that about Twitter, how you can, um, and just meet like really fun, awesome people, and just have a good time with it. So okay, uh, yeah, I'm gonna bounce 360 of you. Okay, sorry I don't have more to share, but I thought it'd be cool to show you where the spite funding is going. I'm still waiting to get those tribal pants from someone bought them to celebrate Elizabeth Warren being defeated, but yeah. Okay. And I might be doing Glenn Beck in person when I'm in Dallas, so fingers crossed. Um, medium 10 to 12. What the hell? Okay. I will. If there's anything else, I will talk to you all probably on Tuesday or Wednesday. So yeah, it'll be cool. Take care, guys. Talk soon.